On June 25 and 26, 1876, the Battle of the Little Bighorn unfolded in a way no one in the 7th Cavalry could have imagined. Among the soldiers who faced near-certain death at the hands of a relentless Native American force was Lieutenant Charles DeRudio. His incredible story of survival sheds light on the chaos, terror, and sheer will to live that overtook the battlefield. DeRudio wasn't just any survivor, he narrowly escaped death multiple times, hidden among burning woods and besieged by warriors. In this video, we discuss his chilling eyewitness account, where his sharp instincts and a stroke of luck allowed him to live to tell the tale. But who was Charles DeRudio, and what gives his story such weight? A seasoned soldier and a lieutenant in the 7th Cavalry, DeRudio was right in the thick of the battle as his fellow soldiers fought and fell around him. Today, his detailed letter from the front lines offers one of the most harrowing descriptions of the Battle of the Little Bighorn, a haunting reminder of the realities of Indian warfare. Prepare yourself for a first-hand account like no other as we explore DeRudio's survival against overwhelming odds. Stay tuned to uncover what really happened in those desperate hours as we piece together history from his perspective. In the chaos of the Battle of the Little Bighorn, one man's survival story stood out among the many harrowing accounts. Lieutenant Charles DeRudio's first-hand testimony of the brutal battle offers a rare glimpse into the terror, cunning, and resilience required to survive one of the most famous confrontations in American history. But this isn't just a tale of cavalrymen. It's a story deeply intertwined with the Native American tribes whose land, culture, and people were at the heart of this violent conflict. This video honors both sides, telling the story of DeRudio's escape while recognizing the Native Americans' fight to preserve their way of life. As Lieutenant DeRudio rode into battle on June 25, 1876, with the 7th Cavalry under General Custer's command, the tension was thick in the air. Reports from scouts had indicated an enormous Native American encampment ahead on the banks of the Little Bighorn River. DeRudio and his fellow soldiers were expecting to surprise the Lakota Sioux and Cheyenne tribes, but what awaited them was far from what they imagined. Charles DeRudio was an Italian-born American soldier who had already lived an adventurous life, having once been a revolutionary in Europe before joining the U.S. Army. Little did he know, the Battle of the Little Bighorn would become the fight of his life. The Native American forces, led by chiefs such as Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse, vastly outnumbered the cavalry and were prepared to defend their sacred lands at all costs. On the morning of June 25th, DeRudio's unit was split into 3 groups, one under General Custer, one under Major Reno, and another under Captain Benteen. DeRudio, temporarily attached to Major Reno's company, was sent to engage the Native American warriors. What began as an orderly approach quickly descended into chaos. The soldiers were overwhelmed by the sheer number of Native American fighters. Reno's men charged toward the village, expecting the tribes to flee, but instead they were met with a fierce counterattack. As the Native American warriors encircled them, DeRudio witnessed firsthand the formidable resistance of the Lakota and Cheyenne. These weren't just enemies, they were warriors defending their homelands, their families, and their way of life. As bullets whizzed through the air and dust clouds obscured the battlefield, DeRudio found himself cut off from his comrades. His horse was shot, and he was stranded in the midst of a raging battle. In his own words, DeRudio describes the terror of being surrounded by 300 Sioux warriors just 50 yards away. They fired a volley of bullets at him, but miraculously, none hit their mark. Desperate for survival, DeRudio took cover in a thicket, where he would spend the next several hours evading capture. It was here, hidden in the dense brush, that DeRudio witnessed one of the most gruesome scenes of the battle. Native women, referred to as squaws in his account, were scalping a fallen soldier. The sight haunted DeRudio, but he knew revealing his location would mean certain death. As the hours ticked by, DeRudio was not alone. He found other survivors, including a scout named Fred Gerard and a few soldiers who had also managed to escape the immediate onslaught. Together, they huddled in the brush, trying to remain silent as they listened to the terrifying sounds of battle. Every crack of a twig or rustle of the leaves could mean discovery by the native warriors who continued to patrol the area. The day dragged on, with DeRudio and his companions clinging to the hope that they could sneak back to their lines under the cover of darkness. At one point, they nearly made it to safety, only to stumble upon a group of native warriors who had captured the cavalry's horses and uniforms. Mistaking them for fellow soldiers, DeRudio called out, only to be met with a barrage of gunfire. The realization that the native warriors had overrun much of Custer's forces was a stark reminder of just how dire their situation had become. As night finally fell, DeRudio and his small band of survivors made their move. Using the darkness to their advantage, they began crawling their way toward the river, hoping to find a ford they could cross. But even as they moved, the fear of discovery was constant. Native warriors patrolled the area, and any misstep could be their last. Finally, after hours of creeping through the night, they managed to cross the river. But their ordeal wasn't over. In the early hours of the morning, as they neared the cavalry's position, they once again encountered native warriors. This time, however, they managed to fend off their attackers. Using what little ammunition they had left, DeRudio and his comrades continued onward. And by some miracle, they reached the safety of Reno's forces, who had entrenched themselves on a bluff. The Battle of the Little Bighorn, often referred to as Custer's Last Stand, is one of the most well-known conflicts in American history. But for the Native American tribes involved, it was more than just a battle. It was a fight for survival against an encroaching force that sought to take their lands and erase their way of life. DeRudio's story of survival is just one thread in the larger tapestry of the battle. His account gives us a glimpse into the chaos and confusion of the day, but it's important to remember that for the Lakota Sioux and Cheyenne, this was a victory, one that would become a symbol of resistance against U.S. expansion. However, this victory was short-lived, as the U.S. government would soon redouble its efforts to subjugate the native tribes, leading to further losses of land, culture, and sovereignty. Charles DeRudio's survival story is a testament to the chaos and unpredictability of the Battle of the Little Bighorn, but it's also a reminder of the larger, often tragic narrative that shaped Native American history. If you want to learn more about this crucial moment in history and the stories of those who lived through it, be sure to subscribe to iRich History. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos, and share this story with others to keep the history alive. Let's honor the courage of those involved in this battle and recognize the importance of learning from history. Every story, whether of triumph or tragedy, adds to the rich tapestry of the past. Until next time, thank you for watching iRich History.